Brent Hubbs, Eric Kane here, Volquest.com. It is transfer portal season, and already there's been five Tennessee football players who have entered the transfer portal. You have tight end Miles Campbell. That came in on Wednesday. Then you had two running backs on Tuesday, reportedly from Matt Zenitz on 3 and Len'Neth Whitehead and Justin Williams-Thomas. And then two receivers who announced on their own social media accounts, Jimmy Calloway and Jimmy Holiday. Brent Hubbs, none of these guys played major roles, Jimmy Holiday being the most notable, but for Tennessee this year. But still some depth pieces there and some numbers Tennessee will have to replace.
Yeah, no doubt. But again, guys who had not been huge factors, and it was, they had opportunities to become factors and hadn't necessarily taken advantage of it, right? I mean, when you look at guys who had been out due to injury or even like at the tight end position with Miles Campbell, you had two seniors above him and Jacob Warren and Princeton Fant. Now, we know that Jacob Warren can come back, but still a veteran guy. They were trying to manage those guys' snaps and fall camp and spring practice and not wear them out. So there was opportunities galore for Miles Campbell, particularly in fall camp, to try to earn his way to be in the rotation at tight end, and he was unable to do that. And Jimmy Calloway could not push in the slot. Squirrel White took that spot or passed him up rather quickly on the depth chart, but behind Jalen Hyatt. And Jimmy Holiday deserves credit for being a good special teams player, not just a return guy back there that fair call, kickoffs and got to return a handful of them, and that's it. He was a really high quality gunner, did a really good job on punt coverage, did a nice job on kickoff coverage. He was certainly invested into Mike Eckler's special teams unit and contributed significantly. I mean, Tennessee will have to replace him with a good athlete. He just couldn't find a way or couldn't find his place on offense with an offense that just, quite frankly, doesn't rotate a ton of receivers.
So you look at the departures now with Tennessee trying to close out this class of 2023 at the receiver position. You say goodbye to two via the portal. You have Cedric Tillman, who's likely going to go to the NFL. We'll see about Jalen Hyatt. You have Cam Selton, who's a committed guy. You have Nate Spillman, of course, Nathan Laycock. At running back, you have Len'Neth Whitehead, Justin Williams-Thomas going to the portal. You're bringing in Khalifa Keith as a committed 2023 guy, and that's a bigger running back, about 220, 225 pounds. Will essentially take the place of what Heupel was going to see in Len'Neth Whitehead, so that's good. But still, and of course we know the need of a tight end in the portal. I could still see tight end, wide receiver potentially, and running back. If there's an opportunity out there in the transfer portal, Tennessee would love to add one of those guys, along with an offensive tackle, maybe a pass rusher. I mean, there's a lot of needs out there.
Well, no doubt. I think you can be really selective at the running back position if you wanted to look at a transfer portal running back. I mean, he would have to be a guy who you would look at on tape and say, he's got a chance to start or be one of my top two guys, right? Because I think you feel like Jalen Wright got a lot better between year one and year two in the program. Obviously, you look at what Dylan Sampson did down the backstretch of the season. I don't know that Sampson's ever going to be a 25 a carry game type of back, but he's a different back, opposite of what you have. Jabari Small, when healthy, is a good player. He's got to stay healthy. I think you could be more selective there. The most pressing need is the tight end position. Yeah. Even if Jacob Warren comes back, that's the most pressing need for Tennessee, in my opinion, on the offensive side of the ball. A big body who can play tackle is certainly right up there. But I think when you look at that tight end room, who do you have that you feel like you can line up and play at the tight end position? And we saw, let's take the running back part away from Princeton Fant's season this year and the end around pass. But look at what he did in the passing game, his growth there. And as you've talked about, and I've talked about, the more you watch this offense, the more you get a grasp of how important the tight end position is for this offense to be successful. They play with a tight end, I would guess 90% of the time. They don't live in 4 and 5 wide. They always want a tight end on the field because they can do different things formation-wise and motion-wise out of that and creating their mismatches. So finding a tight end in the portal has got to be a must for Tennessee.
We're keeping tabs continuously at Volquest.com. We got something on the front page, the transfer portal tracker. Every Tennessee volunteer who has entered the transfer portal, remember, if you're an undergraduate, you got to wait till December the 5th. If you're a graduate student, you can go ahead and do it now. But all Tennessee players who have entered the portal and Tennessee offers who have extended to players who are in the transfer portal as well. One tight end out of Shorter University of Division II. And he's the only one at this current time that has been offered by Tennessee. But we'll keep tabs on everything Tennessee and the transfer portal. That's all at Volquest.com.